evening, everyone. Welcome to the February meeting of the Mira Mesa Town Council. We're going to go ahead and open the meeting with the Girl Scout Troop 3177, led by Courtney Miller. Community attention.
Flags in the back.
Girl Scout attention. Girl Scout advance.
Come on, future.
Girl Scout, honor your colors. Please join us in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Girl Scout dismissed. Thank you, Troop 3177. Next, we're going to begin with our first responders because we know that their time is very precious. First up, from Northeastern Division, Officer Christina Santos.
All right. Hi, good evening, everyone. Want me on that side or this? Right here. Okay. You guys need me on the microphone? Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, perfect. All right. Sorry, I don't want to block you.
Just don't taser us.
I won't tase you, I promise you. All right, I know that we have a busy evening, so real quickly, for the month of January, we have, remember, these are just what we have in the computer system right now. So right now, for the month of January, we had 11 residential burglaries that were reported. I know that I like to know if anything's happening in my neighborhood, so real quickly, just most of these were the sliding glass door broken into. 2 of them were roommates. So I'll give you just the address really fast. We had one at the 7900 block of Hollow Mesa Court, 7900 block of Jane Coast Road, 8900 block of Leva Drive, 11300 block of Boots, the 10100 block of Kibler Drive, 10900 of Avenida Delgado, 10300 of Commuter East, the apartments over there, 7500 of Tuscany Lane, 9500 Karma Drive, 11500 of Compass Point Drive, the condos over there, 10400 of Greenford Drive, and 9800 of Reagan Road. No commercial burglaries in Mira Mesa reported. We had 3 in the Miramar area. We had 4 vehicles that were reported stolen in Mira Mesa, none in the Miramar area. And what I really wanted to touch base with everyone tonight was, right now, just pulling up, I didn't even pull up Miramar because that would be a lot, but for Mira Mesa, we had 25 accidents that were reported. So I left a couple of flyers out there, a couple of handouts out there, and it says, please don't be a statistic. It can tell you about, all the laws. We have a lot of people running across the street, running against the red. A couple weeks ago we had that fatal down the street. So make sure that we're talking to our neighbors, our friends, our family. Make sure that we're following the rules. So again, I left this handout that's back there. Please, if everyone could take a copy. Did anyone have any questions for me? No, wait, I was going to say, we have a full house and no one has questions.
I am involved in the cluster of schools, and we're very concerned about the number of accidents and injuries and deaths also involving school kids and not. And we were hoping to, we didn't have a meeting in January, but hoping to kind of connect with the town council, the cluster of schools, and law enforcement to see what we can do about this problem.
Yeah, absolutely. So our juvenile service team, a couple of months ago, we reached out to, I know that we went out to Rancho Bernardo, we went out to Scripture Ranch, and I'll let them know that Mira Mesa High School is concerned too. But we went out there, we were passing out these same handouts to the students, and then we were stopping cars. We had motors out there stopping cars and warning all the parents about no stopping in the red, watch the kids crossing the street. So I'll reach out to our juvenile service team and let them know that Mira Mesa is really interested in getting this also.
Yeah, maybe come to our meeting on the 24th of this month.
What time is that?
It's 5:30 in the Mira Mesa Library.
Okay.
Mira Mesa High School, sorry.
Mira Mesa High School.
Okay.
It's a Monday?
Yeah. Monday, 5:30.
And you said 5:30? Okay, I will make sure to let them know about that one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Well, it's not a question really, but about Ricard Street, there's a church
Right.
on the corner of Ricard Street, and then across from the church, everybody parks over there.
Where is Zigzag Street?
Well, no, the people are living there. They are living there. These people, these cars are there every single day, and there's prostitution going on, or whatever it is that's going on. Because you see these girls with with boots up to here and like almost no underwear on, and it's really becoming problematic. It's really becoming problematic.
Okay, so this is on weekends, weekdays, all?
Every day, if you have like a contingency, just drive up and down and take license plates, you're gonna see the same cars and trucks and campers there every day.
Okay, this is the first time it's been brought to my attention, and I haven't heard any other officers talking about it, so I'll make sure to take that back to the station.
Does somebody need pictures of graffiti before it's painted over?
Oh, we like to keep track of those, yes.
But you don't necessarily need to be called or come. People can actually take care of it.
As long as you get a picture of it, because yeah, we like to put it, when we put our report, we attach a picture of it on there.
There's been some concern expressed in one of the local blogs about the black pedestrian overcrossing.
The bridge up there?
Yeah, the bridge up there, something about the lights have been damaged, they're not functional.
Yeah, so I took over this position about 2 years ago now, and that's been a long case of with that going on. We've gone out to the city, had major meetings. It costs thousands and thousands of dollars for those lights. Right, so it's an ongoing project that they are still working on, because the transits do go out there and they smash up the lights, so.
Well, that would be teenage vehicles, contemporary.
No. Can I make a comment to that?
Definitely.
I'm part of the maintenance assessment district, and we've been wanting to do something about it besides blow the thing up. But the lights, they keep smashing out. When we replace them, they smash them. It costs a lot of money. We wanted to put a pole up through the middle of the walkway, going up through the middle with LED lights, but we were shut down on that because it's too bright for the homeowners nearby. And we wanted to do some other kind of lighting, and that got shut down. We wanted to do some fixtures to the bridge, but we can't do that because that is a special made bridge. It's got a lot of guy wires and everything else in it.
Yeah.
And we
Pre-tensioned.
Exactly. And so we keep getting shut down. We have not got, we get a lot of no's, but no help on saying what could work. Okay? I've been saying, get somebody that knows explosives, get rid of it one night, nobody will know the difference. And it'll be done and over with.
No one's using it.
Yeah, no one uses it. Well, nobody will because it's, what's that?
You got that on tape?
Thank you for taking the time.
Yes. Yes.
I have kind of two questions. One, what are the cameras on the signal lights around town and everything? And two, is video of criminal activity helpful in terms of prosecuting people? You know, if you see someone like breaking into a car and you grab video of it, or grabbing a box off your porch from Amazon, is that video?
Oh, absolutely. So if you get a picture of someone, you get video of it. I know that, just example, rape videos, we get rape videos, they got the doorbells and the floodlights. I know there's many companies out there. But yeah, if you guys send those videos out to us, we'll research to see who's assigned, which detective is assigned to that case, and we can forward it to them, because they may match the same description as someone else to another case. So that does help. And then the lights that you see on throughout the city.
The cameras.
The cameras, they're called the smart street cameras, and they are on the light posts throughout the city, and they do record.
For what purpose is that being, is that a law enforcement?
No, through the city, I mean, we don't have access to it. City has access to that. As officers, we can't just go, okay, well, we want to do this. But yeah, they could use it for statistics, they use it for criminal investigations, it's used for many things.
Some of the larger cameras on the Manstar are called presence detectors. They let the traffic controller system know that there's a vehicle there.
Right,
Okay, thank you.
but it's just big cameras, smart cameras that's in there. That is
So it's not for, like, traffic violations?
No, like how we used to have like the red light cameras, and that's not what they're using
Okay.
for.
So just general surveillance.
Doesn't mean go right on that. That's, yes, sir.
Do they have microphones on there for like detecting the gunshots as here in some cities, smart cameras?
Not that I've heard.
Okay, they were triangulate, where the sound was.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I don't know, I'm not aware of any audible. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you very much. And don't forget, please grab a flyer, and then I'll reach out to our community service team.
Thank you, Officer Sanchez. All right, do we have a representative here tonight from the San Diego Fire Department? Nope. Hearing none, we're going to move on to the candidate section. We have 6 candidates here tonight from each of 3. The San Diego Unified School Board District A, San Diego County Supervisor District 3, and State Assembly 77th District. To bring the candidates up to give a 5-minute introduction of themselves and their campaign, I'm going to turn it over to Pam Stevens.
Pam Stevens, I'm our Vice President for Programs, so I'm the one who's contacted the candidates. We are going to have the 3 candidates running for San Diego Unified School District Board, District A. We will have we will have 2 candidates running for County Supervisor and a candidate who's running for State Assembly District 77. So at this time, I think we're going to start with the candidates for the school board coming up. So if all 3 of you would like to come up and find a seat a little closer to the front here so that you can stand up in turn. In fact, and we are going to have them speaking in reverse alphabetical order. So we have Crystal Troll will be the first speaker, and then Stefan, and he goes by Steph, I know, Rose, and then Sabrina Bazo. So do we have as a timekeeper, is our parliamentarian going to be timekeeper to make sure nobody goes over their 5 minutes? This is informal, this is introductions, it's not going to be a question-answer session, but we do want to make sure everybody has their 5 minutes each, so.
You might want to explain to the rest of us why the room is flipped around today.
Oh, that door was the only door that was working, right?
They're painting the building.
Are they painting the building? Is
Yeah,
that what's
they're painting the building, and when we arrived to set up, they had all 3 of the doors locked and covered over. And they made an executive decision that because somebody had already ripped the plastic on the back door, that was the only one they'd allow us to open. So we had to reverse the room. If it's not comfortable, we apologize. We'll go back to our usual setup for the next meeting, but we just had to adapt.
I thought it was just a change for 2020. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, are we ready? Come on up,
Okay.
Crystal. Thank you.
Come on.
Come on down. Okay.
Well, thanks for having me. It's on.
Is it on? Yes.
I think so. It's great to be here. My name is Crystal Trull, and I am a candidate for the San Diego Unified School Board at Trustees, District A, which is Claremont, Mira Mesa, and University City. So it's great to be back at my old stomping grounds. I actually grew up in Mira Mesa, went to Mason Elementary, Wangenheim Junior High, and Mira Mesa High School. So I'm a long-time resident. I now live in Claremont with my husband and 3 children, and my children attend schools in Claremont. But, my time here in Mira Mesa was an amazing experience. I had wonderful teachers, and they really provided me with a quality education. And what this education allowed me to do was to go on to earn advanced degrees. I have a bachelor's, a master's, a doctorate degree. It allowed me to make the most of opportunities in the workplace as a nonprofit professional, consultant, now turned consultant. I work with organizations all over the region to help build their capacity. I'm also a part-time professor at UCSD and USD, teaching graduate courses in nonprofit management. And what this education has shown me is that it really sets you up to make the most of your life. And I work with nonprofits. The first thing I look at is the mission statement. What is the mission statement of your organization? So naturally, I looked at the mission statement of the school district. I'm going to read it to you, just so I make sure that I get it right. All San Diego students will graduate with the skills, motivation, curiosity, and resilience to succeed in their choice of college and career in order to lead and participate in the society of tomorrow. Sounds very inspiring. And we would look at graduation rates, and currently 90% of our students are graduating. But as a researcher, I looked deeper into the data, and I wondered, what's the quality of that education? And in looking a little deeper in the data, 2018 SBAC scores show that nearly half of the district-wide, K through 11th grade, 43% are failing English grade level standards, and 55% are failing math grade level standards. So I kind of wonder, what's the quality of these graduates? What are we producing to move into society of tomorrow, and are they prepared? So I am the kind of person that gets in there and likes to roll up my sleeves and do the work. And so I've decided, as a parent of 3 children in the school system, and as a product of the school system, I know we can do better. So as a board trustee, I'm focused on 3 areas. There's a lot of work that can be done. It's a big district, and there's a lot of different needs along the district when you look at it as a whole. But I'm going to focus on 3 that I think will make the biggest impact right away. The first area I'm looking at is accessibility and transparency and accountability. Again, in my work with nonprofits, being accountable to the public is one of the key factors in being able to do community work. So I realized that there are some areas that the district can improve on, and to be accountable for the decisions that are made, transparency about how these decisions are made, accessibility to make sure that a family and a community's voice is heard. So I really want to focus on being in the community regularly, to talk to community members, to talk to parents and teachers and principals, and hear from them. They're on the ground doing the work. How do we make the district better? Second priority area is looking at resources. I look at resources in terms of people, property, and finances, and also intellectual property, which means how we're thinking about going about the work that we do. So in my work, as a PTA member, I've been on the PTA, both my son's elementary school and my 2 older's middle school, as well as school site councils and school governance teams. I've seen some areas where we can make better choices with our resources, giving teachers what they need, allowing them to do the work that they were hired to do, which is actually teach the kids, making sure they have supplies, and also just making sure that they have what they need. Another area, my final area, is looking at is what I call excellence. You know, San Diego, I grew up here. For many of you who grew up here, we live in an amazing city. We have world-class academics. UCSD ranks 6th in the entire nation for public schools. Number 1 in STEAM for women, by the way. We have amazing biotech. We have just the biggest brains doing great work. And so I want our school district to reflect that, because currently it doesn't, with nearly half failing. Again, going back to the mission. So I want to tap into that expertise and talk to the experts about how we can address these critical issues. Again, talking to the parents and the community members, because they are experts in their own right. So, I'm running out of time, but I would love to talk more with you about what I plan to do and to get your feedback, because I can't do this work alone. I'm committed to this community. I'm committed to District A and to San Diego, and that requires you to work with me and me to work with you. So I appreciate your support. March 3rd is the primary. Get out there and vote. My name is Crystal Trull, and I'm a candidate for San Diego Unified School Board District A. Thank you.
And next, we will have Steph Gross. Pronounce your last name for me.
It's Gross.
Gross, okay.
You remember like Jim Croce back in the day? My dad was actually Jim Gross. I'm Steph Gross, and I'm running for San Diego Unified School Board District A. And I am focused on our kids' future, because right now, we've made a number of decisions that are focused purely on the adults in the room. And we've taken some of our decisions and we've taken resources away from our students to really focus in on the adults in the room. Now, I'm running. I'm the blue-collar candidate. You're going to hear a lot. You just heard from Crystal. You're going to hear a lot from Sabrina. You're going to hear a lot about our backgrounds. And you're going to try to identify the true differentiators between us. So, I grew up in Adelanto, California, which in 1988 was rated the most corrupt city in the nation.
Not Victorville?
Atlanta is a urban suburb of Victorville. I grew up in the military as a military child. I attended elementary school on George Air Force Base, and then through some unfortunate happenings of discrimination, I was moved to Adelanto Elementary, where I had to, walk to school and face some challenging different situations. So, born of that, I left there, went to middle school in Victorville, California, and then graduated Victor Valley Senior High, lost a scholarship to Kansas for wrestling, so I went to Victor Valley Community College. Didn't finish school there. So I became an entrepreneur, sang in a rock band, opened for Anthony Kiedis and Chili Peppers, did all that, and then decided, what's really important to me? How am I going to raise myself up from the ghetto? I said it's going to take an education. So what I decided to do was leave the nest of Southern California, move all the way over to Baltimore and Washington, D.C. I was fortunate enough to be able to go to Towson State, get into Towson State, but I couldn't last there very long because my California education couldn't let me compete. I was fortunate enough to test well and go to College Park, which I went for a whole 4 months because, again, my education in California couldn't compete. I said, I'm not going to live that life. So I became a journeyman, collecting education credits and learning this, that, and the other, until I happened to be right outside the Pentagon when 9/11 happened. So I was there. So I said, I don't want to live in D.C., too scary, I'm going to move back home. So when I moved back home, I met my wife, who was in the middle of her PhD program. And that was the spark and the catalyst I needed to spark my life. So presently today, I sit here with an MBA. I sit here with life experience. I sit here with 3 kids, 2 of them are here tonight. And I sit here as an example of what somebody can be and what someone can accomplish. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about myself. I'm the president and CEO of a corporation called Built by PN Industry. I created a product line that helps new parents bond with their brand new babies through the infant vision spectrum to stimulate cognitive learning. That's what we do. We help parents, help children in early child development. I'm running because in San Diego Unified, we don't have a great example. We have trustees who are making decisions that are not in the ultimate best interest of our students. They make decisions, they make good decisions, but they're not focused on our students in all outcomes. Crystal brought up a very good example about our performance. We grade graduation rates, but yet when you start peeling back that data, like she said, it's not. So what did I do? I'm a person who gets involved and rolls up their sleeves. I joined the NAEP program. I was a California state coordinator for the National Assessment on Educational Progress, where we looked at 4th, 8th, and 12th graders' performance. We built the nation's report card that we compare ourselves up against the rest of the world. What that allowed me to do was get that grassroots aggregated data from the classroom. I'm not a classroom teacher, I'm a classroom parent. I spend hours in my children's classrooms every week, so I understand not only what they're faced against, but what the teachers are up against. I'm running for that fair representation to make sure that we have student resources. I'm the only candidate who's going to focus on budget oversight, equity, safety, and transparency. I'm the only candidate in any race that had a relative in Parkland during the shooting, in the hallway. So school site safety resonates with me deep to my core. So those are the things that I'm focused on. And those are the things that a trustee needs to be really connected with the community. Steph Gross, San Diego Unified. Thank you.
And now we have Sabrina Baza.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming out this evening. Again, my name is Sabrina Bazo. I'm running for San Diego Unified School Board, District A. I'm a 18-year parent volunteer leader, Mira Mesa mom, proud Mira Mesa mom. I actually have served on Mira Mesa Town Council for several years. I just dropped off in December because of the election, very proud of that as well. My primary reasons for running, first of all, I believe that we need a fresh parent voice at the district, but someone who has experience, and I am the only candidate in this race that has that experience from the kindergarten level all the way up till 12th grade, because I'm sure a lot of you parents know that your kids' experiences at elementary school and middle school are completely different than they're going to be at the high school. And it's the same for the parents as well. I was a product of public schools, and my mom, who's sitting here, she's a retired 5th grade school teacher. And my dad, who has passed away, was a music teacher. I grew up outside of Chicago, not far from where the teachers were on strike there. And we grew up in a very blue-collar, very ethnically diverse suburb of Chicago. And my parents believed that we should go to school because as public school teachers, it was instilled in us that it's important to be in classes with kids from all walks of life. And that you shouldn't be going to school with just kids that look like you. So it's important to have that diversity, and that was instilled in me from a very young age. And because I believe in that, when my husband and I, who's also here, chose where we wanted our students to go, or our children to go, Mira Mesa was a perfect fit because it has that diversity, and we have great neighborhood schools. Unfortunately, that's not the case in all neighborhoods across San Diego Unified. And San Diego is lucky to have those great neighborhood schools. And we need to have those across the district, and that's another thing I'm going to be striving for. Also protecting those neighborhood schools, the value of those. So started as a volunteer when my daughter was my oldest, who's actually 22 and just graduated from college in Philadelphia, can't believe it. When she started school as a kindergartner at Sandburg Elementary, right down the street here, I jumped in and never looked back. And I was PTA president at Sandburg Elementary, and I made a lot of lifelong friendships there. I mean, there's people in the room here that I've been friends with. Our kids have grown up together. In the back of the room here, Sarah and Robin, and then Jennifer, we're all Sandburg moms, and it was wonderful. It was a wonderful experience. And side note, the principal at Sandburg Elementary, she's now retired, Lori Heinzman, who also is a leadership consultant in the district, she's on my campaign team. So, that's very important to me. Her husband is also on my campaign team, and it's nice because, as you know, this is all volunteer grassroots effort, and he's a CPA, and you need a CPA in your campaign team. So I went from Sandburg, then my kids went to Challenger. I was PTA president at Challenger, and then I moved on to the high school with my kids. And in addition to all those things, I did, I was Girl Scout mom, I was a cheer mom, I was a soccer mom, so all that in addition. But at the high school, I don't know if a lot of you know, but Mira Mesa High School is the biggest high school in our district, and I was a foundation president there for 6 years. So in addition to all the events that we did, I was also at the table with the teachers, with the administration, with the classified staff, with other parents, with community stakeholders, determining, making those tough decisions about budget. That was through Student Site Council and also through student governance teams. So we had to make a lot of tough decisions, and I was right at the table with the leadership at the school making those decisions. And because of that, and because of those strong connections that I have made in relationships, I'm proud to say that the president of the school board, John Lee Evans, who's standing in the back, has endorsed me for this election, as well as the San Diego Educators Association, which represents 6,500 teachers in the district, as well as the community college teachers, and the San Diego School Police. So with my knowledge expertise, I haven't had a chance to even talk about professionally, I'm a health educator as well. And so I am very, education is very important, both professionally and on a volunteer level to me. And I hope you'll support me in this upcoming race. Sabrina Bazo for San Diego Unified School Board, District 8.
Thank you very much. And now we will move on to the San Diego County Supervisor. And we have two candidates who are running, so if you want to move a little closer to the front of the room here, we have, we'll do you also in reverse alphabetical order. So we will have Tara Lawson-Bremer and then Olga Diaz will be speaking. So, Mira, you're up.
Great. Thank you. Hello, am I on? Yes. Great. Thank you all, everyone, so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here tonight. I think the most important thing about running for office and being an elected representative is being a good listener. And I'm listening to the timer. I would like to be listening to you. But in any case, I'm really grateful to have the opportunity to have met some of you and hope to have more conversations with you all, because I think that's the most important part of being an elected official, is being present, being a good listener, being here for you. I'm a third generation San Diegan. My grandfather was a Marine at Camp Pendleton, and when he was killed in action, my mom was raised all over the county, up in North County, and her mom was a single mom. And she had the opportunity to go to school at a really good school right down the road here, USD. And she went from there and was able to earn her law degree and gave me a lot of opportunities. And I also grew up here, product of public schools, love San Diego, feel like it's really given me the opportunity for a really wonderful life. But I also think that our current Board of Supervisors is not doing what we need to represent our community. They have spent the last 40 years, frankly, doing almost nothing. I think we all know that we have challenges in our communities. I know we have roads that need repair. I was just driving up and down Gold Coast the other day, and so I really could not believe what was going on. And then I went to a friend's house in Parkdale, and it was the same thing, and I'm thinking, this is ridiculous, and this is exactly the kind of leadership we've seen failing us at the County Board of Supervisors. I know we have a lot of action we need to take on homelessness and addressing our homelessness crisis, and these are all areas where our board has fallen down in the job. I had my first job in public service working for the San Diego City Council, working as a staffer for the City Council, fighting big tobacco companies and their sales of tobacco products to kids in our schools. I went on from there. I was an organizer for a while, working with United Farm Workers in college, and then I earned a law degree and a PhD on a full scholarship. My PhD is in political economy. It's basically like the economics of government, so how you make governments work for the citizens, who we pay our money to the governments, they should be working for us. And so with those skills, I then had the opportunity to work in the Obama administration in the Treasury Department, working on sustainable development and economic inclusion. And so I'm really excited to bring this depth and breadth of experience that I've built over my lifetime, working from City Council up to the Treasury Department, every level of government, to my own community where I grew up, where my mom grew up, where my grandfather lived, and where I'm raising my daughter, to fight to make San Diego a better place for future generations, because I've seen the sprawl development. I think we need to put an end to it so we can stop having this traffic spiraling out of control. I think we need someone who can really be an advocate to get the money that's owed to our community from Washington and from Sacramento to help us tackle our homelessness challenges. And our supervisors have not done any of that. And that's why I'm running for County Board of Supervisors, so I can fight for our quality of life here in San Diego. Really appreciate your support so we can take back our county. Thank you so much. We need your name one more time.
Say
Tara Lawson-Raymer, and unfortunately I'm going to leave a couple brochures if people want to grab them. I have a small daughter at home who needs me, so I'm going to have to run out. But thank you so much.
thank you.
Is there somebody there at home?
That's a good question. I like this guy.
Olga Diaz. And I'm not sure. Well, I've got a loud mouth.
Thank you very much. We're all set? Good evening. My name is Olga Diaz, and I am wrapping up my third term on the Escondido City Council. I was first elected in 2008, the same night as Barack Obama, and I have served on the council for 12 years, and I have enjoyed every minute of it, even the long meetings, even the crowded rooms, even the controversial issues, because I like to look at information, I like to listen to the community, and I like to use my skills to solve problems. So my background is in accounting. I have a bachelor's degree in accounting. I worked at PricewaterhouseCoopers as an auditor. That's a terrible job. Nobody should be an auditor. So I became a politician. Sometimes that works. Actually, no, I decided I wanted to do something different. So I worked in higher ed. I did years of research, data analysis. I can write SQLs, SPSS syntax. If there's any nerds in the room, you know what I'm talking about. And then I decided to move to Southern California and open a coffee house because it sounded like fun. Why not? I'd never sold a cup of coffee in my life before, but I took a chemistry class on how to make the best possible coffee. And I opened a cute little downtown Escondido coffee shop called the Blue Mug. And I ran that store for 10 years. I actually opened 2 stores. My big plan was 10 stores in 10 years because I was going to take on Starbucks. But along the way, the Escondido City Council members, who I'd never thought much of, it just didn't occur to me how local government impacted my life daily. I knew national politics, state politics, but very little about local politics. But they started proposing some really anti-immigrant racist policies. And as the daughter of immigrants, and English is my second language, and I grew up poor, and I know exactly how lucky I am to be standing here in front of you tonight as one of the top candidates for the highest level of local office in this county. I understand the value that immigrants bring to our country, and so I stood up to my city council. They didn't care, so I ran for office, and that's why I hold the seat. So, all these years later, I did eventually sell my stores. I have worked on things that matter in local government. General plan updates. This is a planning group. You know what it takes to be able to plan out growth in a neighborhood, and roads, and parks, and trails, and connectivity. These are some complicated topics that don't always attract the most attention in a community until there's a problem. So I'm really good at general plan updates. I'm really good at environmental EIRs, environmental impact reports, on development agreements. These are the kinds of things that are important if you're a county supervisor, because the supervisors, there's 5 of them in the county, and their job is basically to serve as the city council for the unincorporated parts of the county. Right here, we're in the city of San Diego. Any land use decisions eventually fall to the city council members. But if you're in the unincorporated portion of the city, land use decisions fall to the county supervisors. In addition, you should know what a supervisor, does anybody know what a supervisor does? This is like I spend more time talking about what the job is just to convince people to vote for me. So the county supervisors oversee a $6.3 billion budget, billion of your money, our money collectively. Those funds are intended to support a variety of services that we might not even realize we depend on. For example, the sheriff's department, the probation officers, the district attorneys, the public defenders, the county jails, health and human services. The bulk of those $6.3 billion are supposed to be spent on health and human services. And you've heard, not just in this campaign, but in many in the region, that there's an issue with chronic homelessness. And if we had been properly investing in preventative measures and social workers that would have reasonable caseloads so they could help people before it's too late, we might not be in this crisis now. So I'm really excited at the thought of being able to get into a county supervisor role where I can roll up my sleeves and help people, because at the end of the day, that's my passion. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for the noble cause. The only thing that compels people to run for office, there's 2 things, vanity or a bleeding heart. And so I have the second. I want to help people, and this is the best place for me to do it. So that $6.3 billion of your money needs to be invested. Now, there are 100 things to work on, but there's 3 that have resonated. Chronic homelessness, climate change. The county has a climate action plan that has been found legally deficient twice. So we need to completely overhaul it to meet our greenhouse gas emissions so that San Diego is not the dead weight in the state of California when it comes to climate. And then housing affordability. There's 2 ends of the housing spectrum. The high-end market, which I don't have to worry about. Rich people will always find a place to live. Then there's the low-end market, where we're investing significantly in subsidized affordable housing. There's some activity there. What's missing is the middle, entry-level workforce housing with people that do have an income, but they can't afford the products that are being put on the market. I have a mastery of land use issues. This is the kind of skill that you need. My day job in my last 10 seconds, I'm a city council member. I'm also the dean of the counseling division at Palomar Community College. I oversee 160 employees and $20 million. I like administrative work. Details matter. You need somebody like me to be on that county board to make sure you're getting effective government. Working is my hobby. It's what I do all the time. So you will get your money's worth out of me. So Olga Diaz, running for County Supervisor, District 3. Thank you.
Well, moving to State Assembly, we have June Yang Cutter.
Yes.
There she is.
I get June Carter all the time. So. Hello, everyone. I think this is on, right? Okay.
Well, thank you for being concerned members of the community and caring enough to come out and listen to us speak today. I appreciate all of you being here. My name's June Yang Cutter, and I'm running for Assembly in the 77th District against our current Assemblyman, Brian Manshine. So a little bit about me. I am an attorney by trade. I've been a civil litigator for about 18 years. A few years ago, I decided to use the creative part of my brain and start a small business completely separate and apart from the law, doing professional home organizing. So I am a declutterer by trade now. I am PTA president at my children's local elementary school, which is Delser Elementary, up a little further north from here, and I serve on the HOA in my community, and I'm also on the executive board of a group called the California Women's Leadership Association, which helps elect women into office and positions of leadership in government. I'm not a career politician. Never in my adult life did I ever think that I would be running for public office, but if Olga says it's vanity or a bleeding heart, I guess I'm your bleeding heart. So last year, as many of you may have read in the papers and seen on the news, our assemblyman was elected in November as a Republican, and 2 weeks after the legislative session started in January, he switched parties and became a Democrat. He's been around for a long time, and his name is well known, but for me, that seemed like politics, like something more to do with the job for himself than to do with our community. And as a mom raising my 2 kids in the district, I was angry. So my initial thought was to find the most viable, electable community candidate to run against him and support that person. Turns out that person is me. I could not find anyone who cared so deeply about our community and was willing to go to Sacramento and fight for District 77's working families. We have a lot of people working for special interests. We have a lot of talk of the richest of the rich, the poorest of the poor, but what about the average guy in the middle? What about our working families, our middle class? No one is speaking out for us at our state level of government. My goal is to win the seat and be a voice for the everyday working person in District 77, to make sure that we protect our economy and make sure that there is not a mass exodus of future generations, and to make sure that our education system does not fail our kids, that we have an economy that can sustain our future generations, and that our communities are protected and safe so that our kids can build a beautiful life here. I moved to San Diego about 11 years ago when my husband was stationed here with the Navy. I loved it so much I told him to get out of the Navy because I didn't want to ever move again. This is my forever home. I love it. I love all of the communities within District 77, and my passion is to work for all of you, and I would really appreciate your vote. The primary is on March 3rd, and we'll go all the way through November, but your vote in the primary is very important and very appreciated, and if you have any questions, I'll stick around, and you can ask me whatever you want. So, thanks for being here tonight.
Okay, well, we have now had a chance to meet the candidates, and let's give a big round of applause to all of them.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you to the candidates who will be staying or their representatives. We appreciate it. For those who may not have noticed, over here by the piano, we have the registrar, the county registrar's office.
Good evening.
If you have any questions about your vote, the primary, when can you register? I see a few folks here of high school age. These are the folks to do it. They're taking care of all that paperwork, and I understand the library will be a drop-off point for your mail-in ballots. All right, we're going to move on to the main program. Approval of the minutes. The minutes have been online for the membership to read. Do we have any corrections or adjustments? All right, hearing none, we're going to go ahead and mark those minutes as accepted. President's report, and I promise this will be very short. First of all, thank you for your patience with the sudden shift of our room. That was due to the painting. Apparently the painters came in, taped shut all the doors, locked them, and then took off before the librarian could ask them which door to open. They made an executive decision that someone had already ripped the plastic on the back door, so that would be the one we opened tonight. So we have flipped the room. We appreciate you working with us on that. The next thing, of course, everybody's very proud. Mira Mesa has been in the national news thanks to Damian Williams. Wonderful to see Mira Mesa being highlighted that way. He is a wonderful person. We put a clip out there for those of you who follow us on Facebook of Damian trading jerseys with another person who, like him, was undrafted out of college. They both started the Dolphins. They faced each other last night, one winner, one loser, trading jerseys after the game before he went out to celebrate with his teammates. So we've raised a fine person here in Mira Mesa, wonderful grad from our high school. Very happy to see us get that contrast. All right, we've heard a lot of things tonight. Talking about bridges, the bridge over Black Mountain Road. We've heard the crime reports. We all know that car break-ins and other so-called petty thefts are on the rise here. Want to let you know that we are getting involved in that. For some of the issues such as the trash that has been mentioned, our Community Pride Committee has been reactivated. Is Marv here tonight? Okay, Marv Miles, who's known to a lot of you, is going to spearhead reviving that Community Pride Committee. This is the group that used to paint out graffiti, that would do the community cleanups where you could drop your hazardous products like paint and oils. Those will be happening again. Marv's going to be in charge of that. Public Art Committee, Leo, are you here? All right, our public artist, Leo Angel Reyes, I know he works some nights, so this must be one of the ones he couldn't make it. He is gearing up to do a lot of new box art on the power boxes. We have a grant for him for $1,600, and we're just finishing the paperwork with SDG&E. They have changed the process for registering which boxes get art. They're getting more formal about it. We've had to go out and mapped and geotag the boxes they're going to work on next, and we're just waiting for them to sign off so that he can begin. But that $1,600 will start paying for a lot of paint to get that done. Neighborhood Watch. With everything going on, we've had some meetings recently where SDPD has come out and talked to us about Neighborhood Watch, and it's time to go to the next level. We're going to start organizing Neighborhood Watch. There'll be a Neighborhood Watch committee to help all the block captains. We'll be doing that very shortly. And the bridge. Tom and I are having a meeting, and we're going to go over that list that the city kept saying no to. And I tell everyone I have a friend who I've worked with in community service who's now the mayor of a city, and hers was City of Yes was her theme. I don't necessarily agree with everything going on at her city, but I like her theme, and we need to be the community of yes. So what Tom and I will be doing is going downtown and saying, great, you've told us no, no, no. What's the yes? What's the yes that we need to get to fix that situation? So we will have more for you at the March meeting on what we've been told is a yes. What can we do to make that situation better? But of course, look around. All of you who are board members, raise your hand. Okay, all of you who are town council board members, raise your hand. All right, this is our board. So of course, we can't do this unless this becomes our day job and we find some way to pay us all nice salaries. So we're going to be relying on the community. There are a lot of great people on the Facebook groups, on nextdoor.com, who want to do these things and they just don't know where to go. They're frustrated. We're going to be reaching out to everybody. And we're going to be tapping into the community. We have a lot of great people here who can do a lot of work. So we'll be reaching out. If you have an interest, let us know what you want to help us fix. We're also, you saw me playing junior photographer over here. We are going to begin videoing our meetings and putting them up on YouTube so that you can catch up if you happen to miss it. Greg, where are you? see, he may have stepped outside. I think he stepped outside. Greg Hoxie, who is a wonderful videographer, has been assisting us in picking out equipment. Tonight's meeting will go up on YouTube within 48 hours. We will start doing that so the community who can't make it to the meeting will be able to go catch up in a couple of days and see what we talked about. So that's mine for the night. As I said, if you want to volunteer, be proactive, come see me afterward. We will be putting outreach to let you know how you can help. All right, next up, we're going to go to Government and Community Resources. First, Mira Mesa Community Planning Group, Jeff Stevens.
All right, so as most of you know, we've been doing a community plan update. The city has made some rather controversial proposals. As part of that, we've been holding those meetings at 5:30 p.m. immediately prior to our regular planning group meetings. In January, we were supposed to have one, but the planning department was scheduled to move into a new building that turned out to be the building downtown that was full of asbestos, so they haven't been able to do that. So that meeting got canceled, and we've been delayed by a month. But they'll be back at the next meeting, which is 20th, I think, third Thursday of the month. And they will, they're going to be bringing some proposals for some concepts for what might happen that's different in the industrial areas. So they are proposing some housing in the industrial areas, which are currently prohibited under our existing community plan. So we'll be interested to see what they have to say. So that'll be at 5:30 immediately prior to that meeting. At the last meeting, we had a presentation on the traffic around Erickson Elementary School. There are a number of issues there, and we're trying to help the parents there sort some of those out. Among other things, there are some turn restrictions which may not be needed now that there's a stop sign there, so it could be they'll do away with those. So we made some suggestions, we referred them to the city, and they're going to come back to us if they need any action from the planning group. At our next meeting, one major issue at the next meeting is the design for Sauk Neighborhood Park. That's been, we've had a number of meetings on that, special meetings, reviews of it. Hopefully this is the final plan, but they're bringing it to us to have to show us their final design and make any last changes to it.
Is that like Maddox?
Yes, that's above Maddox Park, right behind Sauk Elementary School. There's also another marijuana processing facility. We've had a lot of those over the last year and a half since they became legal. And there's one more of those on the agenda. So yeah, that meeting is on February 20th. Again, the plan update meeting is at 5:30. The community planning group meeting at 7 o'clock.
Thank you, Jeff. Next up, Mira Mesa Recreational Advisory Group, Joe Frickel.
Good evening. We have our next Recreation Council meeting on February 11th at Lopez Ridge at 7 p.m. If you have anything to do about recreation, good, bad, or whatever, please come to our meeting and let us know. For all you people that are here right now, we're spending $30-some-odd million fixing this park over here. The city has mandated that we have to spend millions of dollars on stormwater and God knows how much money on an art project. So they put art in our park this time. Anybody wants to know about this art thing? Saturday, 1 to 4 over here at Gil Johnson, they're going to be presenting what this art thing is going to be that we're being forced to put into our park. So if you care about this park at all, you want to know what this thing is, please show up over here and find out. Nobody shows up, God knows what we're going to get over there. It could be a Ferris wheel or something.
What is the time on?
1 to 4 over here at Gil Johnson, it'll be in the gym. So if you care at all, please come up to that meeting. It should be really exciting. What the city is going to tell us what to do in our park.
I believe they have refreshments.
Yes. Always serving short bottles of water.
Thank you, Joe. Mira Mesa Branch Library, Ina Gibson is not here. Pam is going to give her report.
Hi, Ina emailed me that she can't be here tonight. However, on behalf of the library, let me look up this email I got from Ina that I just lost. A lot of you know that I am a librarian, not here at the Mira Mesa branch, but I also volunteer at the Mira Mesa branch. So, okay, Ina Gibson emailed me that in February, on Saturday, February 29th, there will be a Spring into STEAM party. The STEAM, Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and...
No.
No, not STEM, STEAM, because there's arts together with STEM. Arts and mathematics all together. It's a little bit of everything. 11 a.m., February 29th, a 1-hour party for the family, adults and kids alike, featuring animals of the rainforest and family-friendly crafts, and there will be refreshments. So come to the library on Leap Year Day for STEAM, and I brought some flyers. Anybody who's interested at the end can take one of these flyers about this month's book group meeting, the Banned Book Club, which reads books that have been banned or challenged through the years, as well as other simply interesting books here at the library. I'm the volunteer facilitator. This month's book is The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian, a novel but semi-autobiographical by Sherman Alexie, and it talks about life on and off the res. I haven't read it yet myself, but it's supposed to be really funny and it should make a good discussion. It's in the young adult section, but of interest to adults as well as to teens. So that is Tuesday, February 25th, 6:30 p.m. here in the small meeting room of the library. Thanks.
Thank you, Pam. Lastly, Scripps Mesa Fireworks. Michael Spencer is not available tonight. Danielle Austin, Community Outreach and Fundraising Coordinator, will be speaking for him.
Hi. Once again, Three Roots is going to be the title sponsor for the Scripps Mesa Fireworks, which is they're very generously doing a large amount of money. The annual Scripps Mesa Fireworks T-shirt design contest for grades K through 5 is up and running right now in February at all public and private schools in Scripps Ranch and Mira Mesa. It's also available if you have any homeschoolers. You can pick up a copy in the library here and in Scripps Ranch. And the radio station for the fireworks, the night of the fireworks is changing, but it will still happen.
What's the new station?
I can't tell you. But it's local.
Thank you, Danielle.
I haven't given permission.
All right, we're to the elected officials section. First up, City Council Member Chris Cate's office, Luis Hilliard.
Thanks, Mary. So actually, thank you, Joe. So piggybacking off what happened with Gold Coast and Parkdale, last week at our Active Transportation Infrastructure Committee, the council member asked Public Works what it would take to get Gold Coast done this year. It looks like we need about $11 million to get the project done. So in April, actually I'll send you the information for this. On Thursday, April 30th, there is a public budget review hearing over at City Hall at 6 o'clock. I can get you the details from the town council, but basically we really need the community to come out there and help support us and ask why these streets can get done. At the end of the day, we're going to need that money funded in this budget. So this is what we've been waiting on, and this is kind of like the last thing to get across the last hurdle. They're finishing up the design phase, but we'll find out how long the scope of the work is. But at the end of the day, we need that money to get the project done. So I'll be giving you more details about that, but Thursday, April 30th, 6 o'clock down in City Hall. That's open to the public, so if you ever come down there, we'd love to be able to work with you guys. I can get you my information, or you already have it, but.
So at least you said Gold Coast, Parkdale also,
Both.
right?
So Gold Coast, Parkdale, I think Lipscomb was on there.
Jade Coast.
I hope so. We'll talk about it. One time, one shoot at a time. But if anybody's ever gone to one of those public Gold Coast meetings we had at the senior center, everything identified on that needs to get funded on this project. So it's about $11.5 million, I think. So basically we need to say like, hey, look, this is something we've been asking for 20 years. At the end of the day, like, I want the street funded. I think we're in the same place as you guys, but we'd like to have your guys' help, because at the end of the day, we're going to ask, everyone asks, can we get this thing done finally? It is expensive. I mean, it's the most expensive street in the city of San Diego, I think, actually. Not good.
Why?
Yeah.
Foundation under the street, it's not really a street.
So when they built it in the 50s or 60s, you're supposed to have a layer of sub-base utilities. Basically, it's just nothing. That's why it's all cracked. So we're trying to figure out what was done wrong 50 years ago, but at the end of the day, I just want the money to get the thing fixed. That's all that matters to me. So hopefully we can get the money in this budget and we can move on with our lives, but we're gonna need your guys' help. That's just the bottom line of it. So I'll make sure you have the details about that. But we'd love to have everyone come down there and say why this is important. So there's a public comment opportunity at the beginning of that meeting, and then you get the opportunity to come and say like, I've lived off Gold Coast Way, Gold Coast Drive for 25 years. This is something we've had to deal with. Can you please get this done? So.
Luis, I'm getting this vision. I don't know if we have anybody in the audience who's a t-shirt manufacturer, but I can see a lot of us showing up with t-shirts with cracked road on cracked. Big potholes. So.
I'm not gonna say no to that. You can judge of that.
You do? Yeah. Awesome. Let's talk.
Yeah.
Luis, so what happens if we can't raise the money?
We can't get it done. That's the reality. We need the money. This is literally the last thing. They've done all the pre-engineering work, all the studies, but at the end of the day, I just need the money to get it done. That's what the bottom line is. So they told us how much it cost. We asked that in the meeting last week. That number hasn't gone up, thank God. But at the end of the day, we need that money to get it done. That's what it's going to boil down to. So
how long is it going to take?
I have to look at the fact sheet. They gave us a whole kind of play-by-play of each step of it. I can send that to you tomorrow when I go back to the office. But once we get the money to kickstart the project, then all those dominoes can fall. There's a whole study, there's a whole process, there's an entire machine they have to contract out to get the project done. But none of that can happen unless we get the money to do the project in the first place.
All right, so there are certain times when we all have to rally. This is one of them. As soon as we get more details on the time of the meeting, what room it's in, etc., we're going to have to start doing some organizing. Those who can be there, be there. Those who cannot, we will find a way that you can register your support that this has to happen this year.
We can work with the town council on something like that. Definitely want to do a big outreach push for the community. I know I've been on this job for 5 years now, so I want to get funded.
Yeah, we go to the meetings, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so where is, is a city council meeting?
Yeah, so they have the budget review hearing, so the budget comes out, and then they have a public meeting where everyone come down from all over the city and kind of give their piece. So what we want to do is be able to work with the community and say like,
What floor?
that is in council chambers, I believe, so I can send you details about it. I'll make sure to go back to the office and get you all the information for the list. But
Approximately when?
6 to 8 o'clock, I believe.
6 to 8, but
Yeah.
what day?
April 30th.
Thursday, April 30th.
Thursday, April 30th.
I know it's a couple months from now, but I mean, these things, to whip on this kind of stuff
And
takes
it'll come
time.
up before we know it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've been lost here.
I thought that at the last meeting, it was mentioned that there's a new sewer line or water line that's gonna be put in Gold Coast, and I would guess that that would include pavement also?
I gotta double check that. If it's part of that project, I can double check when I go back to the office tomorrow, but
Because they certainly would include paving the street after they do that.
yeah. Well, that's something the city's been trying to do, is because we're doing the problem where we'd pave a street and then dig it up again and then go back to square one. So that's something we're trying to do to avoid that moving forward. Especially with a project like Gold Coast, you guys have been waiting for forever.
Oh, yes.
I don't think it's gonna hurt to wait a little bit longer if that's the case.
Louis, can we email too and put some other streets beside the Parkdale and the Gold Coast?
Right, so we submitted our budget priority memo, but if you have more stuff you wanna ask me, I know she's been asking for Jade Coast Road.
Email already, but then somebody said I
Drive,
should
sorry.
go to the mayor, not to the escape.
Yeah, we don't decide the budget. At the end of the day, the mayor's office decides the budget. That's why we need to ask for that at that next meeting.
So we should email then the mayor or Chris Kate?
You can CC both of us. I can make sure it gets over there. Yes.
Is there enough budget somewhere to fix the potholes right out here at this intersection?
Which one? I mean, I could.
Mira Mesa Road and
Mira Mesa Boulevard
yeah, right out here. It's a hazard, it's a traffic hazard. It's a series of potholes.
and the Wells Fargo side?
Yes.
I can call it in. I can do that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
What about Pegasus?
I am working on this. But no, that to your point, though, that is on our budget priority list. We've been asking for Pegasus as well. But the problem with Gold Coast is that since Gold Coast is in such need of repair, that's why they gave us like the whole play-by-play of everything needs to get done for that. I'm going to be here all night if I start rattling off streets.
Maybe we can do it this way. I know that there's an existing list of streets that are going to be done.
Right.
Let's go ahead, if you can send us a copy of that, we'll publish it.
Sure.
And then we're gonna take requests from the residents on streets they think need to be added to that
Yeah.
list. So we can collect that.
I know the council member talked about this the last meeting. It's going to be a tough budget. That's the unfortunate reality. But that's why we wanted to. We've been asking for Gold Coast since day one. This is something that I know I personally want to get done. My uncle lives up the street and he calls me about it. So. Yeah. So I have my family members asking about this now. So we've come to that point. And then one last note. I don't know if you guys watched the Super Bowl. We were able to work with the town council for Davey Williams Day on 4th of July, and he got robbed of being Super Bowl MVP, but it was really good to see so many people succeed at that level. So I want to thank you guys for helping us out with that on 4th of July. That was a big time, but now he's got a championship ring, so good for him. And then we'll talk more about the Gold Coast stuff, but I want to make sure you guys are all aware of that issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Luis. Next up, from County Supervisor Kristen Gaspar's office and the board.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Anthony Jordan, Supervisor Gaspar's office. Unfortunately, I wasn't here last month to see the installation, but congratulations. Thank you on your presidency, I guess we call that. So, a couple things from the Supervisor's office. Last Friday, she did go up to the White House to attend the Summit on Human Trafficking to honor the 20th anniversary of the Trafficking Victims Protection Act. This issue on human trafficking is a big priority for Supervisor Gaspar, not only as a mother and an elected official, but it is unfortunately San Diego's second largest black market underground economy. It's $1 billion industry, and we need to definitely combat that because tourism and our proximity to the border isn't helping the issue. And the supervisor believes that if we're not at the table, we're not able to get our voice out there like she did the last time when she did meet with the president, and luckily he performed an executive order to put aid out for human trafficking. So she wanted to go and continue to follow up on that for our community. Second, so this morning we had a press conference on human trafficking, and something that all parents should be aware of is, kids have smartphones. Those are the biggest tools for predators out there. So Supervisor Gaspar announced that she is putting money towards a new app for smartphones with the Humans Against Trafficking organization. They've built an app that can actually, assess the risk of your children's Instagram profile, where they can show you the risks. They can scroll through all the followers, because a lot of parents don't have time to scroll through all their kids' followers, and to kind of weed out the folks that they have identified as either spammers or people that are predatory, because you can definitely understand if you look at other people's profiles, you can see if they're putting content up or are they just reaching out to vulnerable children. So Supervisor put money towards that application, which will be released later on this month, at the end of the month. The application is called Radlee, R-A-D-L-E-E. Right now, it's only made for Instagram, but with the popularity of what's with TikTok, that will be another social media app that they will be able to kind of check the algorithm and check the users on there. So I would advise parents, if you have kids, or grandparents, if you have kids, or grandchildren, sorry, please download that app, take a look at it. It will be released at the end of the month, and make sure our kids are safe from human trafficking. That's a big issue here. Second, we had a board letter last week that had unanimous approval for a study to do on-site childcare and expanded lactation policy at the county. This is a board letter that was put forth by the supervisor. We were very happy to see this move forward. Unfortunately, there was a 3-2 vote against one part of the policy, which was the 8-week paid leave for new parents. We all know there's a bonding part component to being a new parent, and it does put a large burden on county workers when they have to come back to work after almost 6 weeks, only 6 weeks, to come back to work because they can't use their sick leave. So supervisor did try to get that policy implemented. Unfortunately, it was voted down. They felt that that 8-week paid leave was better, I guess, negotiated during labor negotiations. But unfortunately, they have had years and years to address that, and now we're back at the drawing board, and hopefully we do have hope that they do bring that to the table, because it is a great necessity for a lot of our county employees, and hopefully move out of not only our county employees. Coronavirus, it's a big issue. A lot of folks are very concerned. There's been one case, suspected case here in San Diego. Fortunately, it was not confirmed. CDC confirmed that it was not a case of coronavirus, so we can rest easy, a little easier. But please be mindful of being in areas with folks and addressing the flu. The flu is actually a bigger killer here in San Diego, and we want to make sure that folks are not forgetting about that. So if you haven't gotten a flu shot, please do. And on February 5th, one last thing. On February 5th, Supervisor Gaspar will be having a coffee up in Rancho Bernardo. This is open to anyone if you are interested in county grants and how our purchasing and contracting department works here in the county. Supervisor Gaspar will be speaking on that and having staff from the county address some questions from the community and for organizations who have questions on how either county grants are distributed or how to apply for them, or if you're a business owner looking for information on purchasing and contracting over at the county. And with that, I'd like to say thank you very much for your time, and if there's any questions, I'll take a few. Yes, sir.
So the group that came over from Wuhan, are they being quarantined over in Miramar?
I was listening on the radio. There was no, they are capable of quarantining folks at Miramar, but there hasn't been anyone quarantined as of yet.
So they're set up for it.
So they're set up for it, and that's with a lot of airports and a lot of bases around the country. The CDC is monitoring about 20 different airports across the country. San Diego is one of those. All right. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Is Eric Young here from the mayor's office? Nope. Assemblyman Brian Mainshine, Rob Knudsen.
I don't think I need a mic. I've been coming here for almost 20 years, so I think you guys can hear me. I think I heard some friends of mine from about 30 years ago playing some music, Bohemian Rhapsody. Just did a time warp. Just a couple of quick updates. We're still working on our legislative package in Sacramento, so in March I will have a better update. But one thing you're going to hear me talk about all year long is real ID. Don't get caught at the end of this year going to the airport with your California ID trying to fly anywhere domestically. You have to have a real ID if you don't have a U.S. passport. If you have a U.S. passport, like many of us do, you can use that, but we never think of that when we're flying to Phoenix or we're flying to Las Vegas or we're visiting family in Florida. I will leave some handouts for you. I've been hearing good things about the DMV. They are opening up early, staying open late. The Poway one is the busiest one in San Diego County. I highly recommend two things. One, go online, create an account. That will save you about 20-30 minutes when you go into the DMV, because they are 100% paperless. So you go in, you don't do all your administrative options and registration. They're going to register you, and then they're going to kick you over to a kiosk, and then you get to go through the line again. So I can pretty much guarantee you, I can save you about 20, maybe 30 minutes of processing, because let's face it, what's better than going to the DMV? I keep telling my dentist that. I say, I'll take 2 root canals. So register. It's all the items. I have 20 handouts to leave behind. if you have, it's all of them. I've had people, well, I've got 90% of it. I've got most of it. No, it's all or nothing. It's black and white, 100%. Oh my God, my doctor's here. It's like, he's not. I'm like, wait a minute, I know him. Yeah, it's very important that you have all the items, not some of the items, not half of the items. It'll make your experience much, much better. And then one thing my wife told me, because I set her appointment up and said, you gotta go. I had everything in the folder for her. I forgot to tell her to bring her glasses, but she had a pair in her car. So she's like, I had it all laid out for her. She's like, please remind people if they wear corrective lenses to make sure they have them when they go, because you will have to do an eye test. So check your driver's license. Don't wait, because in October, you will, starting October 1st of this year, you will have to have a real ID to get on military installation bases, so Miramar, federal buildings, and, getting through the check at TSA at the airport, okay? Now, if you have a passport, that will suffice. So it's one or the other. Most people, though, get the real ID because, again, we're just programmed to use our
Military ID also?
Military ID works.
Yeah,
yes,
okay, yeah.
yes. For many of us here, yeah, military ID. And then lastly, we have a program where we have an internship program, so I want to do a quick shout out. We're looking for summer interns. The district office is up in Carmel Mountain Ranch. It's a program where many of you have seen, we bring them actually out to the community meeting. Sometimes the parents come. We encourage that. We don't let them just answer the phone and lick envelopes and write basic letters. We actually put them to work pretty good. In fact, one of our students who recently just is graduating from Del Norte, I made him bring in the letter, but he is our second intern that's gotten into Harvard. So I call him Harvard 2.0. We've had a number of interns come through Mira Mesa, gone on to Georgetown. We've had one go to George Washington and is just finished up, at the holiday time I ran into his parents, just finished up an internship at the White House. So it's pretty incredible. So we're real proud of our internship program. We're one of the very few offices that allow high school students. They need to be able to drive. I made a mistake with a couple sophomores who didn't have driver's licenses, and I got stuck getting late to a couple meetings because I had to wait till mom go pick up the siblings and come pick him up. So it happens. But we're very flexible with our internship program. Again, we're 15 minutes right up the road in Carmel Mountain Ranch over by the Costco. If you know any nephews, grandsons, nieces, nephews, granddaughters, anybody who's interested, please let us know. We'd be happy to teach them what we do. Any questions, comments?
I have a question about the driver's license.
Yes.
I did mine in last May,
Mm-hmm.
and I gave them all my information. I passed everything there, and then they asked me for my social security number. But I left it at home because, they say when you lose your wallet, then somebody could steal. I know my number. I had my Medicare, everything. They said, no, you have to bring it in person.
Yeah,
so whoever is applying, please don't just...
It's the document. You have to have the document. Many of us don't have Social Security cards because we know it by heart. And
what should I do now? I gotta go now. Do I have to pay again or do my driver's license all over again?
so most of that information should be saved. It should be like a one-off. I'll give you my information. Call me.
Because they're gonna take my driver's license to make a new one.
Yeah. So give me a call, shoot me an email. Let me make some phone calls. Let me see if I can finesse it.
Flyer a few times now.
Yeah. No. But see, that's a case in point. It's whether you know your Social Security number or not, have the card, or there's a list. There are specific categories that you need to have one, sometimes two. Your utility bill, many of us pay it online, so try to find the PDF document if you can. Yes, sir.
So just to piggyback on what you just said, early last year I went in to get my real ID.
Mm-hmm.
I was told by one person that you could bring in a printout because a lot of us pay online, right? So I thought I'd do a PDF printout. The first person I went to said no and sent me back. So I went and got the original printed one. I get up there, I go to do it, and that person's, and I told her why I'm back again, because they gave me a little blue thing. I guess I was getting in line. And I told her what happened. She said, oh no, you can do a printout. So, just in case they don't have their act together, find an original paper bill and take it, just in case.
Well, a lot of times, like for SDG&E, you'll see it, because I just paid mine today. They have the PDF bill version, and a lot of times that may work, but it's got to be in your name. So, or yours and your spouse's name, not just your spouse's name. So double check the documentation to make sure it's yours and not in your spouse's or child's name or something. Yes, ma'am.
So passport, what about passport card? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Or the actual passport?
Having a passport helps expedite the process. Yeah, a passport card you can use to get on the airplane. Yeah, that's valid. Yep. Yes, ma'am.
I imagine it's the same as it was when I went to get my license. I was faced with, I had to get it because it was expiring. And the time between I got the letter, was very short. So my suggestion is go on and make an appointment months ahead.
I couldn't agree more. Don't wait for that letter. It's probably too late to get you in to make an appointment. Yes. And then you end up having to stand in line, and then a lot of you will be making unkind remarks about me. And I fully agree. It can be a little rough down there on certain days. But plan ahead. Go home tonight. Check your driver's license. When does it expire? If it doesn't expire until next year, you have a little bit of time. But again, starting October 1st of this year, you cannot use your regular California driver's license to board a plane domestically, which is what a lot of folks are going to counter. And then there's going to be a big push. There's going to be a surge around June, July this year, and it's going to get very overwhelming. And so please don't be part of that procrastination group to get that information. But I promise you, I'll keep reminding everybody every month and help you guys out. Yes, ma'am. Last one.
I just wanted to bring up, if you're divorced and your last name is different than on your
Birth
certificate, bring your divorce decree.
Yep.
You have to do that for marriage too.
You gotta tie it all together.
Mine was a copy, they turned it down, so I had to go back and get my passport.
Yes, sir.
Just real quickly, I just recently got my California Real ID at Poway, and I gotta say, my hat's off to those guys. They really have it together. There's been a lot of
they're not bad. They've been pretty nice.
No,
it was almost a pleasant experience.
No, they've come a long way, and it's just they shut down every week. They come in early to do some training to get everybody up and running, and again, the Poway office is absolutely the busiest. We know that the calls have kind of come down, so we appreciate that.
I just wanted to piggyback on his comment, because when I moved here in 2018 and I had to switch out my New York license for a California license, it was like, nobody is here. I went zip, 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 and I got the real ID right then and there. And I was just stunned. That was not.
Well, a little hint that I hear from a lot of constituents, Saturday afternoon, not that we don't have enough going on, but if you're bored and you don't want to make an appointment, and you have all your documents and you went online and you registered it, you have the printout and the number. It'll give you a reference number of all the documents that you did online, and they will reference that and process you. It's lickety-split, lickety-split. Yes, ma'am.
My final comment would be, since I just did this with my 16-year-old daughter, went through the entire process, got there, went to pay, and only had a credit card, which they do not do. Oh, yeah. So I had to go back the next week and spend 4.5 hours because it's the 3-month wait for an appointment right now. Yes. So bring cash.
Cash or check?
Or debit card.
All right, if anyone else has any more questions about that, we'll go ahead, Rob, if you don't mind hanging out in the back.
Yep, absolutely.
Taking notes, we're gonna move on.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Rob.
If they're handicapped, don't they have the handicap sticker, they go to the front?
Yes, they do. Yeah.
Next up, State Senator Tony Atkins' office, Diana Lara. Okay, moving on. Congressman Scott Peters, Anthony Nguyen. Also not here. All right, that's the end of that. Just before the open forum, we got a request at the last minute for a couple of minutes. Dennis? on Ted, and Dennis is from VIA. I think we have Dennis and Alex.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you, everyone. We had a successful event last weekend, 3-day event celebrating the Year of the Rat. And yeah, Alex, do you have any other output?
Well, it was a great event, and if you guys were there or weren't there, you probably did hear a lot of 80s music, and hopefully we got no complaints this year from the noise. But it was a great event, and it was a great turnout, and it was also great weather, so it was a perfect event for us. And I know there was a couple of questions regarding the parking lot at the Mira Mesa High School, so anyone?
A lot of people
Rose
complain
Parade.
about that.
Can I explain that? Yes. So, from what I understand, and this is third party, but the high school parking lot was not reserved by TET this time. So
It was
the
not.
district actually offered it up to the high school as a fundraiser. And it was a fundraiser for the marching band to go to the Tournament of Roses.
Yep.
So just so you know, you helped take off about $100 per kid on that trip. That was all volunteer time to collect that money, and it was done at the last minute, but it went to a really good cause. Had they had more notification, they would have put out that it was for the band on all the signs, but it actually was a really good fundraiser for the program. So if you go to most places, you pay for parking now, and it goes to a private company, just so you know, it went to support the kids, 100% of it.
I didn't see very many cars parked there.
Saturday it was packed.
Well, and also, on our side of this thing is that the district, and the school district wanted 5 times as much money as we usually do, because their reasoning is there were 3 events at the school. They wanted us to pay for 3 security guards all 3 days, 8 hours a day. And that, 12 hours a day, so yeah, so that cost us like 5 times as much, so we declined their offer to pay for the parking lot. But other than that, it was a great event, and saw a lot of you guys there, including some of the candidates for office. Any other questions?
I just want to say thank you, everyone, for supporting us. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a great event.
Thank you so much for continuing the festival. We had a great time. We had a booth there all 3 days. Saw a lot of the community. All right, moving into the open forum. First up is Jennifer Qualvick, Taste of Mira Mesa and the Mira Mesa High School play.
And then I also had banner information too, super important. Hi, everybody, good evening. 2 minutes. Okay. Next Tuesday, on the 11th, at my room, we are having a photo shoot for the next county fair banner. This year's theme is Heroes Unite, so superheroes. Who doesn't love superheroes? So if you have kids, or if you would like to be on a street banner that's bigger than life, and I'm not kidding, these things are huge. They're about as big as the store. It just doesn't look like it when you're driving down the street. So if you would like to come and be a participant in that, 2:30 in my room. I'm the cooking room across the street, room 419. Bring your children. Go ahead and just come on over, because we take pictures for about 45 banners. So I have a lot of my own students doing it, and I've had a couple of community people contact me and say, can I bring my kids? And I said, absolutely, because we'd love to see some cute little faces up there. So Heroes Unite next Tuesday in my room. So What time? 2:30, as soon as school is out. So if you can get there a little bit early before everybody gets out, that would be great. You can get in the parking lot and park and go ahead and get in there. Yes. Taste of Mira Mesa. Yes, we are back. It's coming back. We took a year break, kind of a rebuilding thing, plus we kind of had a bad thing happen a couple of years ago. So we are back March 21st, save the date. It's in a new location. It's at the, and I don't know how to say it. I think it's Veloce. Is that how you say it? Yeah, up on Miramar Road. So it's like a showroom, but it's also an event center. And $35 for tickets, $40 at the door. This year we're going to have a wine pull. So you pay $20 and you pull a bottle of wine, and it could be worth a lot, or it could be worth $25. We're also doing a gift card pull too for $25. So So a couple of new things, they are gonna serve some alcohol there. They have about 15, about 15 restaurants, and then of course all kinds of auction items. And you know, of course, the money does go towards all the schools in Mira Mesa. So we have that going on.
Sorry,
Yes.
I just want to add really quick, Taste of Mira Mesa is probably the biggest fundraiser in the whole district in terms of how much we raise for our Mira Mesa cluster. And it's a really, really important fundraiser for our schools. I've been involved with Jennifer with it for a long time, and it's a great event too. So really, you know, try to come to that. We really need all the support we can get to support our Mira Mesa cluster, and it provides for scholarships for seniors, field trips, science supplies, additional supplies sometimes are needed for some of those classrooms, and so, yeah, I just wanted to emphasize the importance of
Thank you.
that
Tickets should
event.
go on sale by the end of this week, and you're just gonna go onto the website, MiraMesaHighFoundation.org. Also, the theater is coming out with their play this year, Freaky Friday, and that starts March 6th. So just keep that in mind if you go to Mira Mesa Theater, MiraMesaHighTheater.org. You can find out about tickets that are already going. They're already starting
No,
to
I
sell
think it's
out. I
just
got
Mira
my
Mesa.
tickets today.
I think it's just Mira Mesa Theater.
It's Mira Mesa
Is it MiraMesaTheater.org?
.org.
And theater
Yes, it
is
is.
spelled-
Theater
Yes,
with
it
an
is.
R-E.
Right. Theater.
Right. Any questions about anything? Okay. That's it.
Thank you, Jennifer. Hi, Ryan Cunningham. Ryan Cunningham for Congress.
Thank you. My voice got me in trouble in school there as it was, so. Thanks for having me. It's always great to be in Mira Mesa. My name is Ryan Cunningham. I'm a candidate for Congressional District 52, which Mira Mesa is a part of. I was born and raised in the district, and I'm a graduate of Mira Mesa High School. My uncle was a basketball coach and athletic director at Mira Mesa High for probably about 25 years. So this is my first time running for public office. To be honest, it wasn't my dream to be a congressman, but I want to run in this district because I'm passionate about this district, because this is where I grew up, born and raised here, I live here, and just seeing the direction that it's been going, the incumbent's been on the scene for about 20 years and really represents what I think is the political class. Was on the city council decision to underfund the pension, which is at $3 billion now. So what I'm really running on is an issues-based campaign focused on securing the border, actually securing it. I have actual proposed solutions for it. Stopping the sewage that's coming in from Mexico that's closing our beaches in the South Bay about 135 days a year. And then also growing wages for American workers by restricting foreign labor, as well as increasing access at our universities like UCSD, which about 25% of the students are foreigners now. So my father was a professor and basketball coach there for about 40 years. So we keep hearing that we don't have enough STEM workers, but I think we need to prioritize our own citizens at these coveted spots in our own universities. So as far as my educational background, after Mira Mesa, I played basketball and baseball at Palomar, and then I went to a small college in Pittsburgh. I have a graduate degree in Latin American politics as well as public affairs from Indiana University, where I studied finance and trade. My professional background is I'm a public finance investment banker. I help school districts and cities throughout the state issue bonds to fund their infrastructure projects. So, like I said, it's great to be here in Mira Mesa. I'm passionate about this place, and I would love the opportunity to represent you in Congress. I'll be here in the back till the end of the meeting. I have information, direct you to my website, and answer any questions that you may have. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, on some quick committee reports. Jennifer, Banner District.
I kind of talked about it already.
That was the county fair banners. Jennifer also manages the Banner District on Mira Mesa Boulevard. Do we have an update?
Yeah.
Okay. Volunteer beer dinner, Pam?
Yes, I talked with Maria Penko at the just before the meeting, and she has secured the hotel of Country Inn and Suites for our venue. It's going to be April 18th, Country Inn and Suites. Maria, raise your hand for anybody who doesn't know you. She's an active committee member. Christina Keene, who's not here tonight, is also active on the committee. I know Charlene Ellsworth is interested in jumping in, so we are going to go into some high-gear planning now. It's honoring Jennifer Kolvig as the 2019 Volunteer of the Year. going to be an absolutely fabulous evening, so stay tuned. April 18th, Country Inn and Suites, more details to follow.
Thank you, Pam. Leo Angela's not here for Public Art Committee, Mark's not here for Community Pride. 4th of July Committee, we have a meeting coming up Tuesday, the 11th, 6:30 p.m. in the Mira Mesa Community Office. This is the point in the season where the committee goes into high gear. You're going to start seeing information signing up for parade spots, for vendor spots. We already have a couple of people registered, which is very early for this year. More information coming out on grand marshals, etc. We are really trying to make it bigger and better this year, so details will be coming out very soon. Membership, Brandy.
We currently have a total of 64 members, and of those members, 20 are businesses.
Thank you, Brandy. As always, we encourage you to invite friends and your neighbors to come and be a part of the Mira Mesa Town Council. Treasurer's report, Jonathan.
Okay, so not much happened this month in terms of activity. We have about the same amount of money as before. I did prepare a draft budget, and it looks like we're going to be about better than last year, more like break even this year. I'm going to go over it with the council meeting next week. If anybody has any comments or anything they want to look at the budget, send me an email or contact us, and we'll be sure to look at those things. And that's it for the treasurer.
Thank you. So we've come to the end of our agenda. Is there anything of an urgent nature that we have not covered that should be brought up tonight? All right, well, once again, I thank you for your patience with the swap of the room. I thank the candidates who are here tonight, those who have stayed. Thank you to the registrars for being here. I hope you signed up a number of voters tonight. Everyone have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.